Number 8, retailers will buy televisions from a wholesaler if the price will buy 80 televisions from a wholesaler if the price is $350, and 120 if the price is $300. The wholesaler is willing to supply 60 if the price is $280, and 140 if the price is $370. So it looks like on this one we have a classic case of supply and demand, everyone. So it looks like the demand was given to us first, and the supply was given to us second. So we, just as we did in the examples, are going to have to kind of come up with a equation for each of these and then set them equal to each other. And so what we've got is 80, 350 as our first point, and 120, 300 as our second point. And so for this, everyone, we are going to need to use point slope form, so we will need a slope. That slope will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. And we're going to end up with y2 minus y1 is 300 minus 350 over 120 minus 80. And so if I was to put that into Wolfram, everyone, I would get, I believe, negative 5/4. And so that's going to be my slope for that one. We can then go ahead and put it into the point slope form equation. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we've got our y1 value is 350. Our slope is negative 5/4. And our x1 is 80. As usual, we do not like that quite as much as we do slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and feed that to Wolfram and get our preferred equation instead. Okay, looking for alternate forms of this equation. As usual, we like this one right here, although I will put the x value first. So we end up with y equals negative 5/4 x plus 450 as our demand function. And so similarly for our supply function, we've got to take a look at this thing. Our first point is going to be 60 to 80. Our second point is going to be 143.70. And we can go ahead and label those with our x's and y's, x1, y1, x2, y2, get our slope. And we are going to have 370 minus 280 over 140 minus 60. And for this one, we end up with, I'm trying to do this in my head, I think it's going to be a negative 1. I'm going to double check using Wolfram really quickly, but I think I am correct. We will see. So 370 minus 280 over 140 minus 60. And I was a little bit off. 370 minus 280 and 140 minus 60 leaves us with a slope of 9/8. And so I got to fix, good thing I checked with Wolfram. Was that a positive 9/8 or a negative 9/8? Positive 9/8 even. Holy moly, I was way off. Okay, so we get a positive 9/8 as our slope. So we've got y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we're going to have y minus 280 is equal to 9/8 times x minus 60. To Wolfram with that we go. And we have y minus 280 is equal to 9 over 8 times x minus 60. So again, we're just doing this to get an alternate form of that equation because we sort of like that better. And so we end up with y equals 9 over 8 x plus 425 over 2, which is pretty wild. But now we do have a supply function and a demand function that we like, and we know that market equilibrium occurs when supply is equal to demand. So we can just give both of those equations to Wolfram, separated by the word and. And Wolfram will take care of the rest for us. And what we end up here with, everyone, is an x value and a y value. Again, our x value is always our quantity. Our y value is always our price. And so what we need, the equilibrium point, and explain its meaning. So our equilibrium point and explaining its meaning, A, we need to produce and sell 100 of these things, whatever they are. I think it's TVs. Yep. At a price of $325 per TV. Okay, and then what would happen if the wholesaler were to provide 200 televisions? And the answer to that is that would be a bad idea on the wholesaler's part, because producing 100 extra TVs would drive the cost down. Bad news for the supplier. Good news for the consumer, bad news for the supplier. And lastly, what would happen if they were only to produce 50 TVs? Producing 50 TVs leaves a shortage of 50 TVs. This is all money they could have got but didn't. So again, everyone, important to pay attention to market equilibrium, because selling too many TVs or attempting to sell too many TVs will leave inventory sitting on the shelf and you will lose money. And not producing enough will leave a void in the market and you will be missing out on money that you could have made simply because your product is not available to purchase.